Hey guys, welcome back to Shelf Life Extension. I'm Alexis, and today I am totally sick and sound like a man. So it's been a while since I've done a video, about another week, and I think that's probably how it's gonna go from here on out. I'm probably gonna do about a video a week until things start to slow down, which they start to do in the next couple of weeks, so maybe that'll change, but for now, it's all good. Otherwise, I was tagged by Mandy over at Oh It's Mandy to do the book to movie adaptations book tag. So it has a whole bunch of quotes from movies that were originally books, and then it has a question related to that book, movie thing. So I'm pretty excited to do this tag. I've seen a couple people do this. I remember I first watching Kevin from The Irish Reader do it, and then I always was just like, oh, this is really cool. And then I haven't seen it for a while, so then I was like, oh, hey, Mandy tagged me in it, and that was really cool. And I really liked her videos and her answers, so I'll link her and her channel down below and everything like that. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. If you ever do decide to write anything else, I would love to read it. Frankly, I'd read your grocery list. This was said by Hazel Grace Lancaster from The Fault in Our Stars. The question is, which author would you read anything, and I mean anything, from? And right now, the most obvious choice is like Susanna Kearsley. And then I was thinking, okay, instead of Susanna Kearsley, who would it be? And I'm kind of obsessed with Simone St. James right now, because as you guys would know from my last video, I read her Silence for the Dead novel, and then I ordered 2 other ones. It's pretty much her entire collection, and if she came out with anything else, I'd probably read hers. But I really wanted to mention Andy freaking Weir, the creator of The Martian. Oh my goodness, that is his only novel right now, and I don't think he plans on writing anything else as far as I know. But if he does, I will be first in line to pre-order that and get on it. So literally anything from him would be freaking fantastic. You Foul, Loathsome, Evil Little Cockroach by Hermione Granger. Name a character you just want to punch in the face. There are a lot of characters that I just want to punch in the face. Like Claire from Outlander, I want to punch in the face. So there's a lot of characters I would just love to punch in the face, like, you know, Claire from Outlander, or Cleo from The Fallen Kingdoms, or pretty much any character from Fallen Kingdoms I would totally punch in the face. So to pick one right now, I would say, yeah, I don't know. I can't think of one like specifically like right now that I really hate. I just have a group of people that I hate. But there's not one specific right now. But you guys know who I don't like and who I do, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. I volunteer. I volunteer. I volunteer as tribute. Katniss Everdeen. Which character from absolutely any book would you volunteer for if our world was anything like The Hunger Games? Now, I'm gonna be completely selfish and say I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't volunteer for anybody unless I was honestly really close to them. But if I was to pick, I would say Kitty Weeks from Silence for the Dead, because she's strong. She has a very strong personality, and she has a very strong determination and a strong, you know, like resolve, but she wears her emotions on her sleeve. She can be overcome and overwhelmed very easily by the situations that she is put in, so I don't think she would be a very good fit for the Hunger Games. She would definitely, I don't think, make it. So I would feel I would probably have a better chance than her, considering she is younger than me anyway. So Kitty Weeks from Silence for the Dead. Fear doesn't shut you down, it wakes you up. 4. Which scary book kept you up all night? And you guys. And I'm gonna mention this because I was gonna say Silence for the Dead, and I'm gonna mention this. It is An Inquiry into Love and Death by Simone St. James. As I mentioned before, I'm really into Simone St. James right now. I read her Silence for the Dead first, and then I ordered this, as well as The Other Side of Moonlight, which I am forcing myself not to read because I don't want to like read all her stuff. And like, it's like kind of how I'm doing with Susanna Kearsley as well. It's like I don't want to read it all and then have nothing. So, but I read this. I read it all in one night. It was creepy, and it reminded me a lot of Madhouse, which you guys, I did not mention in my favorite movies video, but Madhouse, if you've ever seen that, it's really old. It's an independent film. It was kind of B-budget horror slasher psychological thriller movie, but I think it's really done well because, again, it's mental asylums. It takes a very interesting look at mental health and the different kinds of mental health, and does a really cheesy, you know, horror slasher film along with it. But I actually really do love that movie. It was created in like 2007. I'll totally leave a link of it down below if you guys are interested. But this gave me feels for that movie because there was a certain thing in here that happened that reminded me a lot of that movie. Ooh, or of 13 Ghosts. Do you guys remember 13 Ghosts? where it's like they all get stuck in that glass house with 13 ghosts, and the ghosts are like, you know, stuck there with them, like craziness. Like, oh my god, I really like that movie too. But it gave me those feels where you're just like, that is just creepy. It's not scary, but it's just like, oh, that gives me creepy feels, and it's creeping me out. So this definitely gave me that. It's such an interesting thing to try and picture in your head about the things that happened in this book, and it was just so much fun. So yes, this one. Okay, so next is, the problem isn't finding out where you are gonna go, it's figuring out what you are going to do once you get there. That is Jamie from A Walk to Remember. Which character's journey are you willing to take? I would take anybody from Harry Potter, anybody from the Chronicles of Narnia, definitely Elizabeth from Pride and Prejudice, anything from Susanna Kearsley, any of those characters, I would definitely take that journey, particularly if it was Mariana, because that would be really freaking cool. So yeah. Next is, I suppose in the end, the whole of life becomes an act of letting go, but what always hurts the most is not taking a moment to say goodbye. By Pai Patel. Which book ending made you really sad that you just did not want to let it go? And I'm actually going to talk about Nobody's Prize, which is the second book to the Nobody's Princess duology by Esther Fresner, because the things that happened in that second book, that was like one book that I remember legitimately bawling at because I was like sad, absolutely sad. Like, it's one thing to cry being like, oh, what? Like, why would you do that? But then it continues on. Like, hey, with like Vampire Academy, it's just like, I know it continues on, so I'm like working myself to continue on with that. But with this book, it was just a duology. There was only the 2 books. And at the end of that second book, when that thing happened, those things happen and the story resolves and, you know, continues. It's just like, how could you leave it like that? My heart cannot handle it. I have nothing else. So that was really sad. In the moment when I truly understood my enemy, understood him well enough to defeat him, then in that very moment, I also loved him. Ender Wiggin. Which character do you hate but love? Everybody in Game of Thrones, you know, Cersei and Jaime. Hate them, but I love them. But also Lord Rizkal from the Mark of the Demon series. I've mentioned that before and how much I hate him, but I love to hate him. I also really love to hate Blackjack from Outlander. I don't know, I just think he's a great character. Rudy, you're stealing a book? Why? Liesel, when life robs you, sometimes you have to rob it back. From The Book Thief, which I actually haven't read all the way. Name a book that you lent out and it's been a while since you've seen it and you would gladly take it back. I'm gonna change this to a movie because I don't actually lend out my books. All my books, like, I lend to Shelby. Shelby has them and then nobody else has any books of mine. But I know of a movie, and it's really funny because Tony Dennis, who was friends with my sister Angelina, and I'm still friends with him on Facebook. We still comment on each other's stuff sometimes. Some of you, if you're gamers, you might know him as Gimpy Fish. He's pretty popular, you know, that's like his job, he games. And I remember back in the day, I lent him my Mirror Mask movie, which, and if any of you have watched Mirror Mask, oh, that is a wonderful, wonderful movie, and that soundtrack is beautiful. The whole story is beautiful. I love that movie, and all the time I think about it, and I'm like, oh, I really want to watch that movie again, and then I remember, Tony Dennis still has that. He never gave it back, and it's been like, I don't even know, a long time, like 8 years or something. It's been a really long time. He's had that forever, like a long time. And I would love to have that back. So hey Tony, if you watch this, do you still have that? Because I'd totally take them back, you know, just saying. Otherwise, I totally plan to buy that and own it once again at some point. Next is, so if this does end up being the last letter, I just want you to know that I was in a bad place before I started high school and you helped me. By Charlie from The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Which book helped you get through tough times? I don't really have a book that like got me through tough times or anything like that. I really can't connect a book to any of that. And so I'm gonna just say Susanna Kearsley, literally everything from Susanna Kearsley. And you guys, I know, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing about Susanna Kearsley, but not only is she my favorite author because I absolutely love the stories she writes and the way she writes and just everything about her. I read all of her novels at a time when I needed it. And as I said with my last video a little bit ago about, you know, how I'm getting a divorce and all that good stuff, before I actually like left and before it was kind of like official that it was actually happening, I was consuming all of Susanna Kersley because it was giving me the feelings that I wanted and kind of like the love that I wanted. So they definitely helped me kind of receive what I needed in a time when I wasn't receiving any of it, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm like so adamant about Susanna Kersley, because literally she is my life and I love it. Next is Bard the Bowman. Will you have peace or war? Thorin. I will have war. From The Hobbit, The Battle of Five Armies. Which character would you stand by with in a war till the very end? I would stand by... Hey guys! Yeah, so I totally realized as I was editing this that it didn't get any of that last clip. So I'm gonna answer it right now. And the person or group or people or whatever that I would follow into a battle and like into a war with would definitely be, you know, obviously Harry Potter. I would definitely follow them. I would follow Daniel Butler from the Rose Garden because he's a beautiful, beautiful man and a beautiful human being who like makes my heart soar. And in his book and in a lot of Susanna Kersley novels, he took part in the Jacobite uprising in Scotland, so I would totally stand by him. I would stand by the Pevensey siblings going up against the White Witch. Yeah, stuff like that. I would totally do that. So, let us get on with the rest of the video. Bye. And last but not least is Eat My Shit by Minnie from The Help. The question is, which character would you give Minnie's pie to? I would give it to the father from The Compound and The Fallout by S.A. Bodine. Because that guy, oh my god, that guy deserves everything that he gets going to him. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely give him that pie because, oh, he makes me angry. So yeah. Otherwise, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. Everybody I tag, I will put down below. And yeah, I'll check you guys out later. Thanks for watching. Bye.